When the creator of your most beloved detective character, starring in more than 25 fiction novels over 30 years, announces the arrival of a new detective on the block, what do? You pre order the book and then count down the days till the book launch. When the day and the book finally arrive, you settle down in your favorite reading chair with a cup of steaming hot coffee or tea or a glass of wine and lose yourself in a world of murder and mystery. Just 3 weeks ago, Michael Connelly, the writer of the Harry Bosch novels, launched Nightshade, a book that is the first in what promises to be an interesting series with a brand new protagonist, Detective Stillwell. The best part was, since I was recuperating from the surgery that I told you about last week, I could read the book in one go without having to put the book down to cook or clean or do any chores. Yes. Let's find out if this latest book from Michael Connelly lives up to expectations. Time to switch on the reading lamp. Hello, I'm Asaveri, and on this channel, I review books and talk about reading in general. Let's take a look at the details of today's book.
Facts and figures.
Nightshade is the latest detective fiction novel written by Michael Connelly. It was published 3 weeks ago in May 2025 by Orion Books, which is a part of Hachette UK. The book is 343 pages long, available in paperback, hardcover, and Kindle editions. As far as I know, an audiobook version has not yet been launched in India. The link to buy the book is in the first pinned comment and in the description below the video. Now, no spoilers, no worries, just
The cover story.
the mystery in Nightshade mostly unfolds in the idyllic setting of Santa Catalina Island, some 22 miles offshore from Los Angeles, California. Detective Stillwell has been forced out of the homicide department on the mainland to what is a dead end post on Catalina Island. It is a popular holiday destination, a weekend destination, but Stillwell knows that he's been banished to the backwaters to keep him out of sight and out of mind because of internal politics in the department. He's been on the island for several months and he is the lone detective in the department. Weekdays are slow, and weekend crime usually means drunk and disorderlies and petty thefts. That's it. But the first weekend of summer, just when the island is about to be overrun with tourists, Stillwell receives a phone call from the harbour master's office. What appears to be a body wrapped in plastic has just been found in the harbour under a boat. Stillwell has previously worked on the sheriff's dive team, so he goes down into the water with a wetsuit to investigate. 30 feet below the surface, he finds a human figure, bloated and bursting out of a large black bag. The bag is wrapped in braided anchor line and a heavy chain and secured by an anchor which has snagged on some corals at the bottom. With a gloved hand, he pulls at the drawstring opening of the bag until he can see a face and a streak of purple dye in the dark hair. He begins working the case, and obviously, he feels driven to prove a point to his superiors back on the mainland. Soon, he is going to cross all lines of protocol and jurisdiction to try and solve the case. His investigation will uncover dark secrets on the serene island that was meant to be his escape from the evils of the big city. Here's why you need to pick up this latest book by Michael Connelly ASAP.
Speaking my mind.
When you know it's a Michael Connelly book, you have certain expectations. And I'm happy to report that the book stood up to my expectations. It has an engaging plot line with an intriguing mystery and a protagonist that you can like. The setting of Catalina Island provides a scenic backdrop for the story. Usually, thrillers or mysteries have a stressful feel to them. But in this book, even though the plot moves at a good pace, the writing style has a relaxed island vibe to it. It's an interesting paradox and makes for a thoroughly enjoyable reading experience. If you look up Michael Connelly on social media, you'll find that he's put up videos of Catalina Island, which is a real island, where he points out the different locations and points of interest where the story takes place. At the beginning of the book itself, he writes about a judge who comes to the island once a week by boat, moors in the harbor, and sometimes swims ashore to change into his formal clothes and deal with the court cases. It's fun to read about and is inspired by a judge who actually does that. I like how Michael Connelly weaves facts into fiction and tries to stay as authentic and close to real life as possible. This is Michael Connelly's 40th novel, and it's impossible to talk about it in isolation without considering the huge body of work that has come before it. I would say Nightshade is a little less complicated compared to his other novels. The relaxed vibe that I mentioned earlier. There is a more of a literary feel to the novel than simply detective fiction. What I wish there had been more of is a background to Detective Stilwell. There's very little about him in terms of his history, his family, and you don't really get to know him as a person. In fact, in this book, you don't even get to know his first name. I looked through the book again. He's called Stilwell or just Still by people who know him. But this is only the first book starring him, and hopefully, over the future books, we will get better acquainted with Detective Stilwell. Michael Connelly tends to connect characters across his books. I say this as someone who's read every single one of Michael Connelly's novels. I'm proud of that. Harry Bosch, the Lincoln lawyer Mickey Haller, and Detective Rene Ballard. It will be interesting to see which of these established characters Stilwell connects with. I'm convinced that this is the beginning of one more interesting series of books. I'm looking forward to another long standing relationship with a fictional detective. Of course, Harry Bosch will always be at the top of my list of dashing protagonists. If you missed my Harry Bosch episode, you can find a link up there right now, or later on in the description below this video, or in the first pinned comment. If you love mysteries and detective stories, please watch the episode, don't miss it. I'm going to read out a short passage from the book when Stilwell goes into the water to investigate the reported dead body. I chose this passage because I think it illustrates the literary vibe of the book.
Quote unquote.
They went into the water about 30 feet off the Aurora's stern. That's the name of a boat. Rays of light shot through the tall branches of the kelp forest rising from the bottom. Otherworldly strands of green leaves languidly reaching for sunlight and swaying in the current like a line of dancers in sync. I could visualize the exact scene as I read the description. Now, let's look at the LINEDSCAPE rating of the book.
LINEDSCAPE Rating.
Up there is a link to the video that explains my LINEDSCAPE book rating system. All the parameters are rated 7, 8, or 9 today. Overall, the score is 80 over 100, which makes it a 4-star book. Now it's time to put my thoughts.
In a nutshell,
A tiny, serene island, rocked by the discovery of a body submerged in the water and held down by an anchor. A disgraced but dashing detective. Nightshade by Michael Connelly is an enjoyable read with the perfect amount of mystery and thrills. It is the first book in what seems to be a promising new series of detective fiction. I recommend reading this 4-star fiction novel that is fresh off the press, just having been published about 3 weeks ago. If you liked the episode, you know what to do. Give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell icon, and share with your friends and family. Do visit the Reading Lamp every Friday for a fresh new book review. This is Asavri signing off for now. Until the next time, have fun under the reading lamp. Switch on, read on.